So in this mistake is probably the biggest one I see just about every golfer making wherever I go in the world. And that's called the scrape and fire. Let me show you what it is. You might know what I'm talking about. So golfers just get up, they get a ball, they hit a shot, good or bad, they just get another ball, they pick it up. No real, they might take their grip in their setup position, but they're just going through ball after ball with no real purpose, just doing what we call the scrape and fire. So the only thing you're going to get really out of it is a good workout. You might work up a bit of a sweat, but it's not really going to help your golf game at all. So even if you're working on your technique, you want to be able to break the balls up a little bit, maybe into 5-ball sections or maybe 10 at the most. Because even after about 10 shots, our brain starts to get a little bit tired. We start to fatigue a little bit. So we need to be able to break it up. We need to have a little bit of a rest as well. But we want to get rid of the scrape and fire. It's a huge mistake I see players making on driving ranges all around the world. So what should we do instead? As I said, we should break up the balls a little bit, and you want to be able to go through and even do maybe a little bit of a routine. So if you like most driving ranges, you might not have a lot of room. You might be on a square mat, or you might be on the grass, and there's not a lot of room to stand back and do a routine. But even if you can do maybe a practice swing first, just to be able to get your body and your brain ready for what you want to do. But even if you can, go back a little bit behind the ball, pick out a target to hit to, and then go through and do it very similar to what you might do on the golf course. So what this is going to do then is it's going to break up your practice, and you're going to be practicing a little bit more like you would do on the golf course. So every ball, there's a little bit of time in between each ball, and you're going through and practicing with purpose. So maybe you're working on your technique even. You could be working on a position, or you've done your technique work and you just want to finish off and hit a few random shots to random targets as well. This is a great way to be able to practice with a lot more quality, smarter practice, so you get better results to go out onto the golf course. So again, we want to get rid of probably the worst mistake I see, which is the scrape and fire, and really getting down into a little bit more deliberate practice. So again, break your balls up into, say, 5-ball segments. Then after that, have a break. Change clubs. Just change it up so you're just not getting in a routine where you're just hitting ball after ball, and the only thing you're getting out of it is a cardio workout. So that's the biggest thing that I can say to just about every golfer all around the world. The ones I see on the driving ranges over my last 15 years of coaching is get rid of the scrape and fire and start to be a little bit more deliberate in your practice, picking out 5 balls, going through, doing a routine first, changing targets pretty often, and that is going to really help transfer your range game from here and get better results when you head out to the golf course. In this mistake, this is something that I see golfers, if they're trying to make a change in their swing, whether it could be a takeaway position, it could be at the top of their backswing, it could be through impact or early follow through, they're always doing the same swing speed that they would do for their normal shots, so for their full swing shots that they would do on the golf course. And if you're trying to change something, it almost becomes impossible to be able to do it, because your mind, your body just wants to do what it's used to doing. So one of the best things that you can do, whether you're working on any position, so for example, maybe you're working on a little bit of a change in your takeaway, maybe the club face angle, maybe you're working in a position at the top of your swing, for example. So this is really good for backswing positions. Maybe you're working on getting a little bit of a better follow through position as well. One of the best things you can do is really slow your swing down. So when you're slowing your swing down, you've got more conscious control of what your body is doing. Again, if you're just doing fast swings all the time, you're never going to be able to get that change that you want. Or even if you do, it's going to take months, maybe even years to change. So what am I talking about? So say, for example, you want to swing and you want to get a better position at the top of your backswing. So let's really slow it down. Imagine, like on our phones, we've got that sort of slow-mo function. Imagine you're doing a swing like a slow-mo sort of video. So we can set up here, and what we're doing, and you can do this on the grass, you can even do it on a little tee, even to make it a little bit easier, especially if you've never done this before, is swinging really slowly. So maybe you're working on a position at the top of the backswing, and by slowing down your swing, you're going to have a lot more control over it as well. So what you can start to do is you can increase the speed a little bit as you start to get better at those slower swings. But even in your practice, you want to probably do maybe 20 or 30 shots with different clubs doing these really slow swings. So again, if you're practicing maybe the technique position, you could even do a little practice one first, but you're going through really slowly and then going through and hitting the shot. Or again, you might be working on a better impact position or a better early follow-through position. Maybe you've got a little bit of a scoop or something like that. What you can be doing here is you can be going through just really slowly and helping you finish in a better position on the follow-through. So again, a really slow swing is going to be able to help you to consciously make those changes and get your body to do what you want it to do instead of the other way around. So that's one of the biggest mistakes I see golfers making, is they're doing their fast swings all the time, even if they're trying to make a change, whether it's with the club position or their body position during the golf swing. So slow your swing down, do a lot of swings in that slow motion, and then you can gradually increase it. You could go to a 50% swing speed. You could start to go up to maybe 70% and then finally 90% or 95, so your full swing speeds. But to really get those changes that you're trying to make and get them to stick faster, slow your swing down. Probably the biggest mistake I hear most golfers complaining about, whether it's on social media or comments or whatever it is they just can't get their practice game to the golf course. And it's probably the biggest thing that's holding most golfers back. And it really does start here. And the reason why is most golfers are always aiming to the same target all the time. Or even if they change it up, it's very, very rare. So they're hitting to the same target over and over again, shot after shot, even with different clubs as well. And we just don't get that on the golf course. We're always having to change angles, things like that. So, and also, most golfers are hitting to one target. And what I mean by that is they might be aiming for a flag in the distance or a basket or something like that. One of the best things we can change, first of all, is aiming for two targets. So we've got a target on the left and we've got a target on the right. And our goal is to see if we can consistently sort of hit the ball in between those two targets. It's a great way to build confidence in your swing and your game. And it's something that you can take visually even to the golf course. But going back to changing up targets, and especially most of the time we're going to be practicing on a square mat, so we can get really comfortable just aiming up with the mat all the time. But what I want you to do is, again, picking out maybe 5 balls or 10 balls at most and changing targets every ball. So we want you to get you feeling a little bit uncomfortable in your practice. So one thing that golfers are very good at, we're very good at creatures of habit. We'll go to the same mat most of the time, we'll go to the same level on the driving range and we'll aim to the same targets. And of course, when we get out to the golf course, it's such an inconsistent game. We have different directions, different lies, weather, everything like that. So really mix your practice up as much as you can. But getting back to the target, we want to mix it up. So one target could be here, there's on this driving range, we've got a yellow flag on the right, a red flag on the left, and we're trying to be able to hit our ball through there. But you can see now I'm changing up my position on the mat. I am feeling a little bit uncomfortable, but again, I'll go through maybe my routine and then I'm going to go up and hit the shot. So I'm going to go here, I'd feel a bit uncomfortable, I'm aiming a little bit different to the mat, but I'll hit my shot and I'm pretty happy I got my ball through the two targets. So my next ball, I'm going to change targets completely. I'm going to go over to the other side of the range here, maybe picking out a target in between a tree and a flag or something like that. I'm going to go through and do my routine, say my practice swing as best I can on the range, and I'm going to change the angle again. So now I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable again because I'm not on the same angle as the mat. So I'm going to go through, do my routine, do my swing as best I can like I would on the course, and hit the shot. Again, I'm pretty happy I've actually hit the ball through those two targets. So the disadvantage of only using one target is it's going to be almost impossible to hit the ball exactly on that line. It's going to go left, it's going to go right, and you probably won't feel that you're hitting the ball as well as you do. So if you're always picking out two targets in the distance, they can be a little bit closer together for a shortish club, so maybe a 9-iron. Once you get to your driver, you can increase the distance. You could increase it out to maybe 30 or 40 yards wide. 9-iron, it could be 10 or 15 yards wide. Whatever it is, choosing different two targets all the time, mixing it up, going to the right, going straight, going to the left. It's going to put you under a little bit of pressure. It's going to make you feel a bit uncomfortable, but it's going to transfer to the golf course really well. Because again, you're going to be practicing to get your game to the course. This is probably the biggest mistake I see golfers make when they get to the practice putting green. And it can be short putts, it can be long putts, medium putts, whatever it is, where a golfer will bring out maybe a bag of balls or just a heap of balls, just drop them down in one spot and just hit ball after ball from the same spot, end up getting a lot of balls around the hole, almost burning your feet marks into the green. It's only going to give you a false confidence because you're just going to be hitting the same putt after same putt and getting a pretty good result. But we don't get that chance on the golf course. We get one chance, maybe two chances per hole to try and hole a putt. Now, if you're practicing your technique, you can do this a little differently. Maybe just have 3 balls or 4 balls maximum and practice your technique. It could be your putter face angle, your putting stroke, your grip, whatever it is, whether you've got it online or on YouTube or whatever it might be. Then you can do maybe 2 or 3 or 4 putts from the same spot, but then changing it up as well. We don't want to stay in the same spot for too long. We get used to things very, very quickly. We want to keep it as random as possible. But if you're just doing and turning up to the practice putting green, for most golfers I see really practicing like this. So again, you're going to get a heap of balls around the hole, maybe a heap of balls here, and just putting one after the other from the same spot over and over again. And as I said, it's only going to give you a false confidence. It's not going to transfer to the golf course at all. So what should you do? Get 1 ball, and just like we do on the golf course. So wherever you might be going, drop a ball down, read the green, whatever you would do on the golf course. Maybe you go down, have a bit of a look, maybe you're using aim point, you're using your feet, whatever it is, bring the environment of the golf course to your practice. So from here, you could be lining up, you're going through, maybe you do a practice strokes, maybe you don't, whatever it is you do on the golf course. And then from there, you want to go through and bring the environment to your practice. So I've missed, I'll go up and I'll tap that one in. Okay, so then I get my ball again, the one I've hit. Maybe I'm going to change a different hole, a different target. So I might go to this hole over here. I drop the ball down. I might go through, have a bit of a look and read the putt. So I'm doing exactly what I would do on the golf course. You might be very different. That's okay. So we're just, once again, bringing the environment of the golf course to your practice. So normally I might have 1 or 2 or 3 practice putts, but from there, I'm going to putt and I'm bringing the environment. So I'm going through, or I nearly hold that, and I'm going to go through and even tap it in because that's what we would do most of the time on the golf course. So again, I might even have a short putt. So I might drop it down maybe 3 or 4 feet from the hole. These are ones that a lot of amateur golfers are going to miss a lot. So it's a great way to be able to get yourself a little bit pressure ready to make these putts on the golf course. So again, you might go through, you might do a little read. You're going through, everything's random. So you're never putting from the same spot 2 times in a row. You're doing your practice strokes or whatever you might do, and the goal is to see if you can 1 putt this one. All right, so I'm pretty happy there. I 1 putted. So if you're doing some short putts, your goal is to see if you can 1 putt, maybe up to 4 or 5 feet. Once we start to get out of there, your chances of making the putt are going to be about 50%. So with your long ones, your goal is to see if you can regularly 2 putt and really remove those 3 putts. So again, we want to bring the environment of the golf course into your practice. If we're just hitting with a ball after ball from the same spot to the same hole, as I said, we're only going to get a false confidence. It's not going to transfer to the golf course. So next time you're on the practice putting green, unless you're working on a bit of technique and you really want to get your game and your putting ready for, say, your next round, use 1 ball. The biggest mistake I see golfers making when they go to practice their chipping or their pitching is hitting the same shot from the same spot over and over again. So we're hitting off usually beautiful princess lies. Now a princess lie is what I call when you put the ball up on a beautiful spot all the time. So golfers, we're creatures of habit. Very rarely will we put it down in a bad lie. So we're just going to hit shot after shot from the same position, not even doing a routine or anything like that. And we end up getting heaps of balls all around the hole, getting a false confidence. We feel really good, but it's not going to transfer to the golf course at all because we only get 1 chance to hit our shot, hopefully 1 chance. So what is the solution to this? How should we practice our short game? So you might not have a heap of time. You might only have 10, 20 minutes, maybe the most, maybe 30 minutes or an hour to be able to get your short game a little bit sharper and prepare it for the golf course. So this is what you should do. Get 1 ball, get your putter, Even get your other wedges. Now, you might be a player who uses one wedge around the green. That's fine. You might be a player who uses 2 or 3 different options when you're out on the golf course. But get the wedges that you would normally use. You might even use a 9-iron, whatever it might be, and your putter with one ball. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the green, for example. We've got the apron here. Now, the new way to drop the ball when you're on the golf course is from the knee. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it the old way, dropping from the shoulder, because the ball then is going to go from a higher position and bounce in lots of different areas. It's bounced really nice here, so I'm pretty happy. The lie is pretty good. I'm going to pick out a hole to hit to, and I'm going to do this just like I would on the golf course. I'm going to hit to a shot, do my routine. Okay, so I might pick out a hole here. I might use my 54 degree, for example. Okay, I'm going to go over to the hole just over in front of me there, and I'm going to do my routine. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to do a little bit of my practice swing that I'd normally do when I'm on the golf course. I'm going to step up here, and I'm going to hit my shot. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that one. It almost went in. So even I would be very happy with that shot. So what I do now is I get my wedges and I get my putter. So we're going to head over and we're going to try and hold that putt. So for most golfers, if they can get from being off the green and get their ball onto the green, that's a really good shot. If you can get your ball from the edge of the green and you get in the hole in, say, a maximum of 3 shots from being off the green, you're doing really well. It's going to help to bring down your scores a lot. So again, here I might mark my ball, I might line it up, I might do aim point or whatever it is you do. And then from there, I'm going to go through and play like I'm doing on the golf course. So I might do a couple of my practice putts going through here, and I've holed the putt. So I'm pretty happy there. I've got an up and down, a 1 chip, 1 putt. And so from there, I'm going to get my clubs again. I'm getting my putter, and I'm going to go to a random position. So follow me. This time I'm going to go over here, maybe where there's a little bit more of the rough. So I go to a completely random place. I'm not doing it from the same spot over and over again. I may be coming into the rough here. I'm going to remember to drop it the old way, like so, because we might get a variation. Now, if that ball lands in a terrible lie, you have to play it from there. We don't want to get our club and pull it into a beautiful princess lie position. Okay, so I'm going to go maybe do the second flag along here. I might use my 60 degree. And then from here, again, I'm playing the ball as it lies. I'm not putting it up onto a beautiful princess lie. No, we don't want to do that, because one of the things we have to get used to is playing the ball as it is, accepting the good luck that we get, but also the bad luck we get as well. So again, I'm going to set up here. I'm going to do my routine as close or as similar as what I would do on the golf course. And then I'm going to go through my shot and hopefully hit one that's okay. All right, so my ball's come out there, a little bit of a bad bounce, but I'm on the green. And again, what I'm going to do is get out my putter. So I'm practicing just like I would play on the golf course. So I can put my clubs down, and again, I'm going to come over here. Now I'm probably 7 or 8 feet away from here. My chances of making this putt are maybe 50-50 at best. So this is like for the Tour Pros, PGA Tour, DP World Tour, average is 50% from about 7 or 8 feet. So maybe for me, maybe a 40% chance. Maybe for most amateur golfers, it might only be 20 or 30%. So again, if you're here, if you can 2-putt, you're doing pretty well. So I've gone through my routine. I'm going to set up. So again, for me, I do 1 or 2 practice putts. My goal is I'm hoping I get it, but if I can 2-putt, I'll be pretty happy. All right, I've just missed. That's okay. But I'm going to finish out. I'm going to tap out just like I would do on the golf course when I'm playing. So that's how we want to practice your short game. Again, if you're just dropping down a heap of balls and hitting them from the same spot over and over, it's not going to be great to transfer to the golf course. The one exception is if you're practicing on your technique. Maybe you're working on your setup or your takeaway or your early follow through. The one exception you can do is maybe 3 or 4 balls hitting from the same spot, but then change it up. Change your position, change the whole location that you're hitting for. Again, keeping it as random as possible, even when you're working on your technique, is going to help transfer that technique, make it better, and get it to the golf course. So that is the best way that you can make your short game better under a little bit of pressure, so you can see those results happen on the course.